we'd be remiss, Saib, if we didn't put this at the forefront of the list. There was a state of play a couple days ago. Hogwarts Legacy. We knew this game was coming out for a while. We didn't really know like anything in terms of like gameplay. Like there was a little bit of leaked footage from like way back in the day, but even then we couldn't really glean that much from it. We didn't know when it was coming out. But a couple days ago, we got our very first in-depth look at the gameplay. And let me tell you, it looks exactly like everybody dreamed this game would be. And I'm not talking about the pessimists. I'm talking about the people that wanted this game to be good, like myself. And it literally looks to be like an open world Hogwarts experience, kind of like Bully, you know, the old Rockstar game Bully, but with magic. And best of all, Saib, I said on this podcast that this game will get an immediate buy from me if I can hop on a broom and fly around the world. Well, it looks like you can do that. And not only that, you can do it on a hippogriff. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And the wand play, like the combat looks amazing. The environments look great. The creature design looks like Elden Ring levels, types of detailed and unique. And look, I not even like the most hardcore Potter fan. Like I'm a Harry Potter fan. I read all the books, I watched all the movies, but I wouldn't say I'm like die hard like so many of my from my generation are, where that's like the only book they ever read. But man, this game amps my hype level up probably to the level of people that are diehard fans. I cannot wait for this game. It's coming out at the very end of the year. Saib, you saw this. Are you a fan of Harry Potter? Are you not? Regardless, yeah.
So I've never read the books front to cover. Front to cover. That would be a very short read.
That'd be very easy.
Cover to back. I've never read them all the way through. I've read parts of them. And then I've, of course, seen all of the movies. I think the movies are pretty darn decent. I think the movies are great. And the main reason why I haven't read the books is because I didn't want to get too attached to them. That's the main, because I like the world so much that I'm like, it's one of those things that I know that if I dived into like fully, I would obsess over. And unfortunately, I'm probably going to end up obsessing over this game because, oh my God, this thing looks good.
Right. Yes.
So most people were thinking that we would get some kind of like Walt Disney version of
Infinity
Hogwarts, and it would be like very cartoony and stuff. This doesn't look cartoony. It does look it looks very kid friendly, which is a little weird because I don't know why they're doing that, because the vast majority of like people who grew up on Harry Potter are now adults. And if they had put in some like just some like some steamy like main characters, they probably they'd probably be getting even more of a standing ovation than they currently are. Not to say that I think it should become a romance novel. What do they call those? A grocery store romance novels, right? Or gas station romance novels. I don't think that they should necessarily go for that, but I feel that they do have some room to grow up with their audience a little bit, because their audience has grown up. And not that I would say that for every IP. I wouldn't, actually. And one of the reasons why I say it for the Harry Potter one is because people literally grew up with the series. They literally grew up with the series. And now those people, the biggest fans for Harry Potter, are now adults. Like they're in, I think it's like 18 to like 25 right now is the biggest fans of Harry Potter are in that age group right now. And I think they should have grown up with it a little bit more, because it's something that it's an IP that's unique in the sense that it grew up with its audience, and not all IPs do. You don't need to do that with like Mario. You don't need to do that with Yoshi, or like literally name any other long-running franchise that's out there, because it kind of stayed where it's at, right? Like it's like,
can you imagine an M-rated Kirby game? That'd be so dope,
right? so it's kind of like Sesame Street. It's always there, right?
Right.
But Harry Potter grew up with their audience. The first Harry Potter is aimed very much at children, like at young children. I'm talking about the movies now. the last two movies are not something that you would take the same kids in that saw number one and take them in that same day to see the next one.
Agreed.
That there is a little bit of that happening. Obviously it's on DVD or it's in people's collections or it's on streaming services, and the kids nowadays, they get to see that kind of that whole series, but they also don't like click with it that much versus the kids who literally grew up with it, spent like what, 8-9 years going to see that, year after year after year, and growing up with those characters. So I think there's a little bit more of a room for them to kind of grow up with this and to kind of like take this forward. And so I am very excited for this game, because it looks absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
The only thing that I didn't see is I don't know if you can play Quidditch.
I think it's implied that you can, because you do see the one student fly into the camera, like right next to what looks like the Quidditch patch, I think.
Yeah,
it might be wrong.
That's the one thing that I did not see them focus on in this. It was like a 20-minute like showcase, going through the game, going through the characters, going through the locations, going through a whole bunch of stuff. This world looks huge. It looks very open and looks very good, like very clean. And I'm very excited for where this is going, because again, we need some wins here with video games. I don't know if you noticed, but oh man, it's been kind of
the last year or two, barren.
The last like 3 years have been dismal, right? Have been absolutely dismal for video gaming. Sure, there's been some good ones, but when you count on what should have been good, what should have been good series going 4 or 5 years back now, it's been letdown after failure after letdown after failure after letdown after failure. And then the big corporations, they get together, they do this huddle, and then they come out and they're like, all right guys, we've had a big talk, we've really decided that we're going to really double down on our winning strategies. All right guys, let's do it. And then they pulled out a bunch of knives and stabbed themselves in the stomach repeatedly on stage.
Square Enix?
Like everybody's done this,
right? No, I know. I just meant.
I mean, you go back. If you go back 5 years from 5 years ago, and you've got the highs. You got The Witcher just out. You've got all these games that we're looking forward to. You got Mass Effect around the corner. You got this Anthem game. You've got all these games coming out from EA and all these, and everybody's like, oh yeah. Looks like gaming's going to be great. It's going to be great. I remember people saying, the next 5 years of gaming is going to be the best game years release we've ever had. You think Witcher 3 is good? No, Witcher 3 is the highlight of the last like 5.5 years. That's how sad this is. And even with that, you see the fall, like not the fall, but like, CDPR really, really dropping the ball on what everybody was hoping would be the kind of like this new beacon of light. But all the mistakes that were made with that. And so really recently we've had a lot of like really good games starting to come out. We've had a lot of really good products coming out. And this is good. It really is.
Yeah.
And I think what we're going to see in the future is we're going to see, a lot of these games that people have been working on for a while coming out. And I mean, Hogwarts and the next game we're going to talk about are two things that have been like, I've just been kind of, my eyebrows have been raised. My glare has been intensified. It's like, this game in particular is looking fantastic. And it's also coming to PC, which means modding.
Oh yeah. So when you cast Avada Kedavra on somebody, that means they explode into a blood cloud. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, we're gonna see. We're gonna see if that if the I think we're gonna see in mods what the community is like when it comes to what this game is. Is this gonna be another? Is this going to be another game where it comes out and it's basically the next like a Skyrim in the sense of the mods that you get for it? Is it going to be filled with a bunch of crazy things that you can't always talk about? Is it going to be more wholesome? Is it going to be more built around the sports? Is there going to be some people who mod in an official an unofficial but highly popular Quidditch system. Is that something that we can look forward to?
Could Quidditch become like the Gwent of Hogwarts Legacy?
I would like to see it be even better than that. And I've been saying this for a while. I really think they need to make Quidditch be an esports and really hype that up. Like, really hype that up. Because I think it has... I think out of all the things that you could make ahead of time, that you could make, that you could actually aim for an esports release, make it highly popular, all that kind of stuff. That's the one thing that I would say, hands down, they could do that with that title. Hands down, they could do that with that title if they do it right. And I don't know if they're going to do it right or not. So
I have no doubt that Quidditch will be in it. Even if it's like something that's introduced in DLC, it has to be in there because it looks like they're trying to recreate Hogwarts. And to recreate Hogwarts without the huge Quidditch patch would not be accurate Hogwarts. Let's just say that. So this game, I didn't have it on my radar. I only had 2 games that I was really looking forward to this year. I didn't have it on my radar because I didn't know it was coming out, but it is apparently coming out on holiday. This has immediately become a must play for me just based on everything that we saw in this trailer. You can go wherever you want, virtually. Like, it seems like you can go to almost any place that the books mention. Like, it looks like you can go to Gringotts. It looks like you can go to Hogsmeade, the Hogwarts, the surrounding worlds, and even places that we've never been to before. And that plus the in-depth RPG system, it looks like they actually went all out for once. It's not like they're holding anything back. And thank God, hopefully this will be the Harry Potter game that everybody's been waiting for. The trailer certainly makes it seem like it's going to be that way.